First off, salute to you, Charles. Happy Veterans Day to you.
Oh, thank you, my friend. Thank you. And to all other veterans out there and anybody and everyone serving. Hell yeah. Appreciate you. Continued support. It's been fantastic.
A lot has happened, Charles, since we freaking got off the air last time. A lot has happened.
Okay, so as of right now, 9:25 a.m. Central Time, 10:25 East Coast Time. There still has not been word on the temporary restraining order. And again, too, so the judge, yes, is a Michigan undergraduate and in the Michigan area, but this isn't this judge isn't going into the courtroom with a Michigan football hat on, right?
It's just something I read. Yeah, it's just an injunction. It's whether or not it's the right thing or not to do. That's all that his judgment should be based on.
Again, too, something I read just earlier was that this judge was, in fact, the judge that struck down some Michigan strike that everyone and their brother thought was going to go the other way.
Yeah.
Especially with this judge. So throwing that out there, this judge is not, whatever decision this judge makes is completely unbiased, in my opinion. I think that's also why it's taking so long. I mean, they've had this for a minute.
They've had all the information in front of them. It's been on the table since last night. What, 5:30 in the afternoon? This was filed.
Yeah, and I have a small piece of that open, but I'd like to, for those of you who haven't already read it or have heard about it, we are going to, this is basically the quick read on the letter Michigan sent to the Big 10. Like all members of the Big 10, like all members of the Big 10 conference, we are entitled to a fair, deliberate, and thoughtful process to determine the full set of facts before a judgment is rendered. That is very specific. Okay, so everything that we know has nothing tying the head coaches to any of this. In fact, this seems like a Michigan thing, not a Michigan football thing, although it wasn't a Michigan football scenario. The Big 10 never reached out to Connor Stallions, not once. They have not received all of the information. They've received enough information. Well, they've had this information all week. Why did they wait for a couple of hours on a national holiday on Veterans Day, the fucking Friday before Veterans Day, to drop this shit?
Well, let's not speculate, but I'm sure we all know the reason why, because it would make the injunction that much more difficult.
Difficult to get. Well, absolutely. I mean, and you can't tell me this isn't personal. I'm just speaking.
It's personal.
And it's probably speculation, but I'm just speaking the writing on the wall.
Right.
Old boy comes out, Tiny Patetti comes out and goes, this is not against Jim Harbaugh. This is against the University of Michigan. You could have went 100 different ways. You could have fined the shit out of Michigan. You could have hurt their recruiting. You could have taken away scholarships, right? But instead, you're hurting the players on the field. And to me, you're making it seem like the accomplishment these athletes have created for themselves on the field is no longer valid. Nothing about this is against the University of Michigan. Everything about this is against the University of Michigan football team. Now, let's talk a little bit about an unfair advantage, a competitive advantage. You do this to the University of Michigan a week before their biggest game of the season, which, I mean, Penn State is a good football team.
Apparently, did you hear how it broke? I mean, this is allegedly, I don't know if this is exactly how it broke, but here's the thing. This is how it went. ESPN broke this 30 minutes before Michigan was addressed by the Big 10 that Harbaugh would be suspended for the rest of the season. But here's the thing. Apparently, the kids were on the plane with Harbaugh, and they had to break this to him via
Twitter. Yes, absolutely.
Via Twitter or something. Yeah.
Pete Thamel came out and then 22 minutes later, Chris Bayless came out. And then at about the 33-minute mark after the story broke, the school itself made a statement that they were just informed and that they were aware. So how the fuck is Pete Thamel getting this information?
I did read, Charles, I heard some of this. So Petitti was the governor of Pennsylvania. Yeah. ESPN is out on the East Coast. We know that it's in Connecticut. Did they say there's some kind of weird ties with him in ESPN, Petitti being a governor, of a fucking state? Yeah, there's some kind of weird tie there. Obviously, people. It's speculation. It's alleged. It's not.
In what
we don't
world
know.
do investigations get leaked like this?
Bad.
The information
terrible.
leaked from the Big 10 at this point is ridiculous, which leads me right into my next point.
Charles, hold on. I want to say one thing. The only thing that I can think of is there's a mole.
Oh, there's a
mole in the Michigan program. There's a mole in the ESPN.
There has been a small scuttlebutt that there is a major Michigan donor who does not like Jim Harbaugh.
Really?
And wants him gone. A major Michigan donor. Now, I have not confirmed this yet.
Right. Speculation.
This is speculation. But again, what I'm gathering is that there is a major Michigan donor who does not like Jim Harbaugh. Wants him gone. So I'm betting his wife is from Ohio State.
it's entirely possible.
And his kids went to Ohio State. Yeah. He's got his Michigan plaque somewhere hidden in his office. That's what that kind of fucking alumni is.
Yeah.
Fucking crazy. But anywho, leading us into the next big segment portion of this is that a few days ago, it has now been released a few days ago, and you can find this everywhere there is Michigan Wolverine, the winged helmet, all of this. Chris Bayless, all of it. That Michigan regents had gotten together and discussed potentially leaving the Big 10 if the Big 10 suspends Jim Harbaugh in a overstepping of their authority, which is, I believe, wholeheartedly the exact situation we find ourselves in right now.
Right. Regardless of what the outcome of the injunction is, whether or not they allow it or if they say, hey, no, you have to, we'll see you in court,
Right. Absolutely.
Monday.
Absolutely. And here's something else too. I would like to point out that our Michigan squad is the best football team in the country. The talent only matches up. The only team that I think even matches up completely is Georgia. And I'm saying that right now because of what Georgia did the last 2 years. I've not seen anything on the field yet.
Well, right.
That confirms.
Even the ESPN guys are saying that it's the most complete team in the country, and it's not even. They've said it. Well, we've seen Ohio State, we've seen Penn State. Michigan is complete. Every facet of the game is controlled and is managed and is coached well, and that leads to me thinking the same way that I think Woodson is the one we're going to get to it, but this is Woodson said it as well. He goes, you don't just magically what is it? Was it 11 Michigan players he said were drafted? You don't just magically draft 11 football players and not have a good football team.
Well, absolutely.
You have a good football team because you have a good football team.
You look at what Michigan did. You're talking back-to-back offensive line of the year, right?
Yeah.
The name of the award slipped me right now.
I don't believe they're going to win it this year because they wouldn't do that because of, especially with all the shit that's surrounding them right now. But
again, that award has nothing to do with signs, though. That award has, and Desmond too pulls it up, I believe, on First Take or one of the episodes. There is film where the defense has the perfect play called, and the offense just plays better. And that's what happens when you have a talented team playing against a not as talented team. Trust me, as Michigan fans, we watched it happen for almost a decade. Ohio State had way more talent than Michigan. The only reason it was close was because at times it was a rivalry game.
I'm going to find this guy that allegedly used to fix NFL games. Like supposedly he came out as this back in the 80s. I think it was 80s or late 80s or early 90s. He came out and said that they had somehow rigged an NFL game. And he said it was extremely difficult for us to do that in an NFL scenario. He goes, in order for a college team to do this, he said this. These are like his, I'll find it. I got to find it. It was a tweet that somebody put out and it was like third party. But he goes, this is like his exact quote. It was incredibly difficult for us to fix an NFL game where we have professional athletes on the field that know exactly what they need to do in exactly every scenario. He goes, in order for them to do it perfectly so that we would be able to place and hit all of our parlays. For a college team just to see signs and for them to coach kids And not only that, kids don't run the freaking right route 90% of the time. They don't know where they're not in the right position. This happens on every play in college, even if you know what the plays are.
Even in the hurry up college offense, right? Like you got to be just special if you think anything crazy is going on. But let's talk to those special people. If you're in a hurry up offense, the college kids, they run a play, hurry up, get to the offense, go, hada. And then every single fucking player on the team or on that field, the offense looks to their sideline while the defense looks to their fucking sideline.
Did you know that CJ Stroud actually, I think they asked him about it because he never beat Michigan or whatever. They go, hey, what did you audible a lot? He goes, oh, I audible a lot versus Michigan. Well, that means Michigan's got to hurry up and change their play call if they know what the play is, right? Oh man, magically his stats are terrible versus Michigan. Must be because they were cheating. Must be because they knew what the plays were. Well, he audibled 10 or 12 times that game, which means he didn't call the play that they supposedly knew he was, and he audibled in the same formation. How the fuck are you going to know what play they're calling if it's the same fucking formation and they didn't move?
Well, and here and we've discussed this on the show multiple times. The sign only works if the motherfucker doesn't audible.
Sure, exactly.
And even if that works, right? Even if that works, you still have to make a play, regardless. I know. I'm just saying this is how people. Yeah, this is how people are being super freaking picky about it. You know, like because my biggest question is how is Michigan speeding excessively on the same freeway that every other team is driving on?
Charles, well, this is what we spoke about off the air. And Michigan has admitted that Stalions went above and beyond in his, video recording his scheme. It's not a lie that they know that he did do it. I mean, he even, I think, admits that he did do it. He just admitted that he exposed a loophole. He didn't expose that he said he did it illegally. There was no illegal thing about what he did. Was it maybe a little bit on the line of morality and sportsmanship? According to the rules that are set in place, sure. But did he break any rules? Yeah, he broke rules. But punish those rules when the investigation is done. You don't punish an innocent man before the freaking evidence is out there. I mean, that's what this is all about. That's what 100% what this is all about. There's nothing tying Harbaugh or any other coach to this. Stalions was a fucking, what was he? Like an assistant, like videographer or helper or something. I don't even know what the guy's actual title was on the sidelines. Someone said he never even was really in rooms with Harbaugh ever, like, or even with the defensive coordinator. He stood next to him, but it's probably because of his love for Michigan. He just wanted to be out there on the field. I don't know.
Even in lieu of all of what that would be considered speculation. Right?
Yeah, it's all speculation. Everything I say is speculation.
The absolute not speculative part of this would be the fact that the NCAA came out and stated there is absolutely nothing connecting the head coaches to this scheme.
Correct. That's what I'm getting at.
Coaches.
Yeah, there's nothing.
That is directly from the NCAA.
And you know what that means, though? That none of these videos exist.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It's videos of him taking videos. There's no videos. If there was videos that they say, they would be able to link to, hey, they watched it at this time and whatever. They can't. There's nothing.
So, I mean, in lieu of literally all of that, we break it back down to what's his fucking name? Tom Petati.
It's Petiti or whatever. Yeah, I don't know. We're not even going to give him he won't even get the luxury of us saying his name correctly because we don't care.
Potato. He's Mr. Potato from now on, not Mr. Potato Head. That dude's sweet. This dude's just a fucking potato. So Mr. Potato comes out and goes, this is not against the football team. This is against the University of Michigan. That don't make fucking sense.
You just named Michigan. You named all the players, all the athletes. You're punishing.
It just doesn't make sense to me because.
But you punish the head coach, but you're not punishing Michigan.
It all starts with the head coach.
Sure,
but everything. But it's not about the football team. If we're talking about the head coach, we're talking about a football team, but we're not talking about the football team. We're talking about the University of Michigan.
I don't want to get into this because it's something that I don't really want to talk about. But if this is what the Big 10, the precedent they want to set, how come they didn't set it when the Sandusky thing happened?
How come they didn't set it with the Hitler thing in
coach.
Michigan State? How come they didn't set it with how come they didn't do this with the Michigan State program? You've got literally, you just fired your fucking head coach for whacking it on the phone with an assistant.
Yeah, well, she's not an assistant. She was just part of part of a program they had.
Yeah, whoever the fuck she is. I didn't mean
but honestly, I think he's going to win that lawsuit. He's winning that lawsuit. They're screwed. They're going to lose millions on that one.
Mm-hmm. Fucking hope so.
Well, the Michigan State one was not really him. It was the Nasser thing.
But hold on though. We're not talking about single people here. Remember this. We're talking about the Big 10 punishing the University of Michigan. We are not talking about singular actions here. So why has the Big 10 not punished Michigan State? Why has the Big 10 not punished any of these other schools in this way? Are they still gathering information? That doesn't make sense because they didn't continue to gather information on Michigan.
Well, no, it's in that report. The only reason Michigan is actually getting punished and the Big 10 is justifying it is because of the sportsmanship clause. That's the only thing they have on it. The sportsmanship clause. That's it.
So Hitler on a screen isn't sportsmanship. Ohio State and Purdue and Rutgers colluding against Michigan in the Big 10 championship last year. That's not sportsmanship.
I don't know if that's a separate investigation that has nothing to do with this one.
Well, but hold on now.
These are all things that are going to get brought into light for sure.
Hold on. This is the world we're in, though, bro. At what time did the Big 10 give Michigan? We're talking about events that have been months surpassed now, right?
Yeah. I think the problem is I think there's big wigs involved with this. They've got a lot more push and pull because there's no reason that anybody would pull the trigger on this.
I'm agreeing with you, and I'm trying to make that point very loudly. Where was the due process for Michigan?
There was none. That's why there's so much backlash. There was no due process.
Now, in the halftime of this, let's say, we've now reached the halftime of this portion. I don't think it actually fucking matters that much. I think all they did is piss off all the fans and all the 600,000 plus living alumni, the absolute best law school in the conference, and the most rabid fan base. Michigan, I believe with everything inside of me, that this is not only the end of our Big 10 life. Fuck the Big 10. This would never happen in the SEC. This mob mentality that went and had a AD players meeting only.
Yeah.
That shit would never happen in the SEC. Never. This dude is a potato, and he was pulled out of the ground way too early. Way too early. You would never be a McDonald's fry.
No,
you could never be a McDonald's fry.
Shout out to Santa Ono for having Michigan's back as well. I really appreciate his tweet. Dude, his Twitter has been fire.
Oh, yeah. I've got Twitter up right now.
He got in on the bet thing. I was like, dude, that's the president. You freaking
bring everyone together.
Yep, exactly.
And then a little pew.
I had a post earlier about solidarity in Michigan. Just go into this game with a business mentality, finish what you started, and you guys are brothers out there on the field. That's what we want to see, especially on Veterans Day. Let's I hope they do the salute.
Jim Harbaugh will not coach Michigan versus PSU. Hearing set for Friday.
Interesting.
As of 4 minutes ago. So
there you go. Breaking news.
It's fine. Honestly,
what's going to happen. Those players are going to go out there and absolutely just maul them.
Oh, absolutely. All right, I just got to post it on the old Facebook for us here real quick. All right.
Yeah, I honestly don't really understand what's gonna come of this.
Harbaugh will not coach versus
just negative.
PSU.
Other just negative stuff.
Hearing set for this upcoming Friday.
Why is it so far out? It's Saturday today. That's 6 days away. They set the hearing for Friday.
Yeah,
they got another game on Saturday. That's idiocy. So he gives him one game to prepare, one game, not even a day to prepare. So this is all, like you said. Wow, it's collusion, Charles. I don't know. It seems very collusive to me. It seems like they're
for
just
one,
a little well too thought out to you, me. Do you think this is thought out? Very well thought out. Interesting.
Actually, arguably in the law system, the fact that we have this hearing within 8 days of an event occurring in today's society is incredible.
Well, not really, because it's an NCAA judge.
No, this is not. This is one of the fucking local judges from Waukesha County or some shit. I know I'm saying that wrong. This isn't an NCAA. This isn't an NCAA judge. This is literally a courthouse in Ann Arbor, and the hearing is set in the circuit court for Friday. I mean, the multitude of other cases that are probably at the doorsteps of that courthouse.
I thought this was an NCAA infractions judge that had overseen it. It was just the injunction.
Bro, in the beginning of the show, we talked about this judge ruled against a Michigan strike. How could that has nothing to do with the NCAA? Right?
I thought this had everything to do with the NCAA, the breaking rules.
No. For one, the TRO is against the Big 10, not the NCAA. This whole
they said no. That when this all came out, they said they had an NCAA judge, like basically an official, on hand for the injunction.
Who is the judge for the? I mean, it's going to be up. The judge assigned to the TRO in the case is Timothy P. Connors, a Michigan undergrad alum and lecturer at the university's law school, though he will be expected.
I heard a woman took it over. Did you hear about that? A woman took over the case.
I don't know, dude. I'm literally reading this from the internet as of
that's yesterday's
Sports Center, November 10th, 2023. So, I mean, from a Friday to a Saturday, if a chick took over, I don't know, bro. That's, from my understanding, this isn't an NCAA specific judge that.
Well, it wasn't. I don't mean NCAA double like specific. I mean that they handle NCAA infractions. Like I really want to know what their case is going to be against Michigan, because honestly, how is the injunction not going to go through?
Well, regardless that it's Friday, but to
well, yeah, I agree with you on that it is fast.
That we got it so quickly is good. That's probably the fastest. I mean, fuck, it's Ann Arbor, Michigan, bro. They probably got rollover from goddamn Detroit murders. You know what I'm saying? I mean, that courtroom is probably loaded.
Yeah, but what do you think's more important, Charles?
Definitely not.
Well, no. I don't. I guess that's an asshole thing to say. But I'm just saying, what is more? I guess that would be the same thing as like a political thing too. You know, we
got Friday. That's fantastic. The game doesn't even play until Saturday. We've got a solid case that there's enough in our favor, and there wasn't enough time for the NCAA to push, or I'm sorry, for the Big 10. Again, we're getting those. We got to remember.
So I have a question for you, since you
against the Big 10 conference, not the NCAA.
Well, I got a question for. Well, yeah, but yeah, is entirely possible that during this with the TRO and all that they actually will throw this out?
I don't know. My thing is that for one, that Michigan locker room is tight for two specific categories. They are a tight squad, and those doors are closed tight. None of us fucking know what's going on in there. Not a single person. We don't know what's going on in the Harbaugh room. We don't know what's going on with the attorneys. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I wonder if he's allowed in the locker room, or is he not even allowed at the game?
There was a funny statement made. He's not allowed on the sidelines. Could he be up in the box?
Well, right. Could he buy or have a private ticket and go sit in the stands with all the rest of the freaking?
I'll shave my beard and fucking send it to you, bro.
Exactly. But I don't know any of the legality part of it. You know, like, because obviously there's an injunction filed, and like they have to, like, you know, they're gonna walk on eggshells obviously until.
Well, I don't plan on staying in law school, but I'm still currently there, so I do understand this a little bit. And that was like kind of the point. I was like, well.
Yeah,
it is kind of incredible at the speed that this there is two major factors for Michigan right now. For one, a motherfucker looked at this on Veterans Day. Okay, that's fantastic. And on a Saturday, I barely think the president can get a courthouse open on a Saturday, right? Unless it's a national security thing.
Well,
so
yeah, well,
I definitely have that going.
I think that's what I was getting at, is they actually have somebody on the NCAA has somebody to look at these things for certain things like this.
Again, though, too, that we cannot add the NCAA to this. This isn't an NCAA thing. This is Michigan versus the Big 10.
No. The NCAA has judges to do these things on Saturdays. That was what the entire thing was about. That was from University of Michigan on their Instagram page, that they were the ones that had reached out to the NCAA to have somebody look at this so that it wouldn't be pushed off till Monday. But obviously now it's pushed off till Friday. So I think we all
more than enough here.
Yeah, we all knew
it's going to take time to look at. And
yeah,
there is no way an impartial judge would have allowed Jim Harbaugh on that sideline this Saturday. I mean, that was another thing that a lot of people had to realize. I think the team already knew.
Yeah.
Even getting onto that plane, I think the team knew.
Oh, once there was speculation around the Friday when it all broke, I think they all knew. Yeah.
It's something Desmond Howard did. The one thing I am worried about, okay, and this was very evident in the first 3 games, and this is so crucial when it comes to being a great head coach, is the adjustments at halftime. Okay, now these games last year, right? And I think we're much better this year than we were last year. But these games last year at halftime were not in our favor. But our coach was the better coach, and those second half adjustments killed it. And that is something specific we need to look out for now moving forward. I think that's the biggest key factor right now. I love our coaching squad. I love everything we have. That was the first 3 games of the season. You don't see many halftime adjustments during that scenario.
I mean, how much input do you really think Harbaugh has into the offensive and defensive play calling? Or is he more there to say, you think?
I think so. But again, though,
because I feel like they already have the game plan ahead of time.
I love where you're going with this. I agree with you in a weird circular kind of way.
I think he's more of a figurehead.
I do feel that Harbaugh is more of a room than a singular item. Absolutely,
right.
Absolutely. I think they work their coaching room like writers write a sitcom. There's multiple opinions in that room. There's definitive answers moving forward. So yes, I do agree. I think with everything inside of me that we'll be fine.
All right. I feel bad for that Drew Allo or whatever the quarterback for Penn State, because they're going to ask for him to do a lot today.
That defense, I'm telling you, that defense is going to be, oh my God, does he get it? Oh, he missed it. He was so close. He was so close to the 8-5.
Yeah. Unbelievable. It's crazy to think that this is all transpired in less than 24 hours. It was just nuts how all this stuff broke. Just boom, 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 boom. Twitter's blowing up.
Absolutely disgusting, in my opinion, on how.
Oh, it's disgusting that it even came down. Had this happened next week to Maryland before the Ohio State game, I think it might have been the week before. It probably would have been even worse, though. Honestly, the fact that they didn't wait. Yeah, they called it a bitch move. It was definitely a bitch move. It was something that never should have fucking happened.
He's a
potato. It was potato. Yeah.
And he will. I just don't think he'll ever. He's leaving. I'm sure he'll be leaving the Big Ten. If y'all don't see the writing on the wall, this is the same type of shit the Pac-12 commissioner started to do when he first got there. Yeah, I'm going to bring this back into. Look where they all are now.
This dude signed his career death warrant the day that he said, yes, there's enough evidence. Harbaugh, you're suspended. Well, congratulations. You are no longer going to be the commissioner in the Big Ten. And if you are, you're not going to be a very well-liked one. And guess what that entails? A lot of criticism and skepticism from the fans and from all the other coaches.
Great. You're going to get heartburn out the ass. You'll have ulcers. Welcome to the new life. And the thing, I mean, if I was anyone else coming to the Big Ten, I'd be I'd be rethinking that.
Yeah,
man, I'd be rethinking that for sure. Because just like one of our conversations earlier in the show kind of got a little heavy, right? You just kept trying to explain how Michigan was different in this scenario, and yet I kept coming back going, no, it's not. It's the same fucking thing. You're just looking at it.
But you can't everything, the way that they run that shit though is everything has to be separate because the fucking Big 10 has already set precedent now. I
understand that it's separate, but it deserves the same separate attention that Michigan just received. 3 weeks.
But none of it was towards sportsmanship.
3 weeks into this, Hitler on the screen.
That isn't sportsmanship, though. That isn't. And by the way, they fired that company, and they didn't have control. They already proved they didn't have control of the scoreboard. So
shit, I don't know, man.
I don't have control. Hey, if I put that glance thing up there, I can't take anything off that's put on there. It scrolls through until it's done.
Here's how I look at it. You are the one of the hosts of this program, and you put it on that show. So it doesn't matter what the third party did. You're the one that the punishment has to come down on.
Yeah, but
that's the same fucking world.
Charles, this is getting political, though. You know that this is how this works. Punishment goes by politics, and it does.
The countdown is on, bro. Here it is. The countdown is on. The Big 10 commissioner.
Well, I know. I agree with you.
This information on Ohio State, Purdue, and
I agree.
Rutgers for 1 week. He has 2 weeks to punish them.
Right. I agree. But is there going to be an investigation? That's the thing.
Oh, yeah. There's definitely an investigation now.
And I heard Michigan's lawyers have like a shitload of evidence, dude. Like they have tons against everybody else in the Big 10. So I can only imagine what they're going to bring to the table in this freaking lawsuit, like when it happens.
Oh yeah. Here's another really, really funny thing. Does Rutgers survive without the Big 10?
Rutgers wouldn't survive in any conference outside of the Big 10. No, absolutely not. They'd be done.
Penn State survive without the Big 10?
Yeah, I think it's a big enough university.
Does Penn State thrive without the Big 10?
Probably, because their wrestling program is just as big as their football program there.
Okay, so no, we're definitely name five schools that are on the map for wrestling.
5 schools on the map for wrestling?
Yeah.
Iowa, freaking Michigan, Penn State.
No, Michigan is not on the map for wrestling.
Yes, they are.
Michigan is on the map for football and basketball, bro.
Oh, Michigan is a good.
No, listen, I'm not saying the University of Michigan doesn't have an elite wrestling team, right? The only name so far that I agree when you think holy fucking wrestlers, right? Iowa, definitely, Iowa.
Penn State was number one last year. Number one. Penn State's won more national titles than anybody.
How much money does wrestling bring a school?
Quite a bit, actually.
We'll get into this later. Wrestling does not put you on the map. Many people can argue with me all you want, but wrestling is not the reason you're a D1 school, right? If your team gets into the Final Four, right, in the college football playoffs, for every team you get into that, you get $6 million. What do you get for wrestling? We'll have to look that up.
For the NCAA championships, the Big 10 championships, all the wrestling tournaments.
Yeah.
They're the 4th most profitable program. So behind football, basketball,
what's the 3rd?
Hockey. Probably hockey.
Okay, so let's move on from the wrestling thing. That's what I'm saying. I don't think
you can't play that card about football just funding everything, because if you play that card,
it does.
Does it really?
It does. Yes.
The boosters have a lot to do with how much money the school makes, because they put money into.
I'm telling you right now, the football program or basketball program.
Yeah. But did you know that about 60% of the revenue only comes from the TV contracts? 40%, less than 40% comes from ticket sales.
Right now,
But that's.
I should rephrase this too. I don't want to say without the Big 10. More specifically, without a conference at all.
College basketball is actually not that far behind college football.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with you. That's why I said, depending on where you are in the country, it could be basketball. Absolutely. Kentucky's football program does not fund that school like Kentucky's basketball program.
It's getting close though.
But I'm telling you right now too, bro, we can dig into this a lot. Look at where all the cuts are. Look at where everyone makes cuts and where the cuts don't come from.
Yeah, Title IX had a lot to do with that too.
But I'm just saying, I don't matter where. I'm just telling you, like, football programs and basketball programs don't receive cuts. And the weight room for the wrestlers is what it is because of the football team.
See, you're only screaming for the point that the NCAA, that all of college football should just get away from the NCAA and just go semi-pro.
Oh, I agree with you, but that would never
I mean,
happen.
that's all that screams is because it's the only thing funding it.
But hold on now. This is where I'm going with this. Okay. Michigan would be fine as an independent. Michigan would thrive as an independent, greater than what Notre Dame has, or on pace and par, the same way Notre Dame has. I don't see another school in the Big 10 conference accomplishing that the same way Michigan could.
Oh, Ohio State could.
Maybe.
Ohio State could. But
Ohio
nobody
State
would like
gets a buckload of money.
But they'd be the villains.
Of money from the Big 10 and from other entities. The Big 10 championship game is what it is because of Michigan and Ohio State.
Yeah, those are the only two teams outside of, I guess USC might be able to do it too with all that California money too, but
Alabama and Georgia if necessary, but this isn't even saying that makes me want to punch myself in the face.
There's probably only 10 teams in the entire country that could go independent, start their own league, and it would be like a small NFL, like your Alabama, your Georgia, your LSU, your this big time donor money stuff. But
you want to know another thing too that I swear to in all of this. This is happening to Harbaugh because he's coming after the commissioner's money and the NCAA's money and media rights and screaming that more of it should go to the players.
Play the payers. Yeah, pay the players. Yes.
Yep.
Absolutely.
There's no reason this media money should be going into anything other than the programs at the university and the entities creating the product for those programs at the universities. Why is it going anywhere else?
I hope that this comes down where they just say, hey, we're just going to fine you. And Harbaugh just says, F you, writes a check. And on the bottom of that check, it just says BET.
And my biggest question, though, bro, really, I mean, I guess when it all boils down, you're talking about sportsmanship and a competitive advantage.
Yeah.
That's
what they're saying. I'm not saying that's what I'm saying.
I know. What I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to the Big 10.
You're talking to
Mr. Fucking Potato.
Mr.
What
Potato,
fucking information do you have that led you to believe that Michigan acquired such a competitive advantage that you felt the only fair way to acknowledge this was to give Penn State, Maryland, and Ohio State an even greater competitive advantage?
Charles, they have none. We both agree on this. They have none. Their only thing is everything that is the
Big 10 commissioner telling Ryan Day, Rich Franklin,
public opinion,
and all of those other sons of bitches that you're not as good as Jim Harbaugh or that football team, so it doesn't matter what we do?
Pretty much. I mean, it's pretty much.
Is that the writing on the wall?
It is.
It doesn't matter if we take Harbaugh because I mean, as a Big 10 commissioner, you're looking at $6 million out the window potentially because of this. So you're telling me that you looked at that investment and went, oh, hell no, the stock is way higher with or without. Y'all don't even compete.
I heard this could be $1 billion swing over the next 15, 20 years.
Oh, it will be
$1 billion
if
Michigan of lost revenue.
If Michigan leaves the Big 10 to either become independent, or there is scuttlebutt that the SEC is watching this heavily and that they are willing, if Michigan decides, to send an offer immediately to Michigan. And the scuttlebutt on the return is Michigan wants to hear it. So
that'd be awesome. It would be awesome.
I think it would be awesome. We might be in trouble the first couple of years.
Well, because you're gonna be scheduling heavy with SEC teams, and teams you're not familiar with. Yeah, it's gonna be rough.
Familiar with, but also teams that are not familiar with you,
and that aren't terrible. There's
recruiting. Recruiting will be a little bit different. and you're going to have to jump onto that South recruit pretty heavily. That's where I think the hiccup might come in a couple of years. But I mean, by year 3 or 4 in the SEC, I don't see a fucking problem. We are right there and bigger and badder than ever.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, I guess it's going to happen. What happens next Friday is going to determine a lot of stuff, I believe. What goes on in the future with Michigan football.
With the future of the Michigan University and the Big 10. Absolutely. Or more specifically, the football entity.
But they can just leave for one. They can just leave for one sport. Absolutely. They don't have to. Yeah, they can just the football program could just leave the SEC. Yeah. But like you said, you've already made this point. And it's very clear that all the money, if they leave, the money leaves. So I mean, the cash cow has to go where the grazing is great, right? As the
largest football stadium in the world. I mean, I'm so disgusted with it's something else we'll talk about too. I mean, my disgust level with Potato is on par with the owner of the Pistons. So, and this dude did this to me in 1 week. The Pistons have put this on me for 15 fucking years. Fucking 2-8 motherfuckers. Happy Veterans Day.
They're still better than the Clippers, and the Clippers got freaking Harden. So.
Yeah, I love everything.
I was going to bring that up to you.
I love it. They are 0-3 with Harden. They are getting smashed.
Yeah, they're not a good basketball team.
There was a really, really, really good clip. Let me see if I can bring myself up here. Hold on. Man, there's a really, really, really good clip. Come on, let's see. Home. How do I hit my X home now again? God, this shit's so wild.
Yeah, there's one where he's like kind of like standing there with his hands on his hip, and they're like, "Well, this is what you get with Harden." Who's like, "Dude, that's all he did when he was with Brooklyn the entire time." And someone put a cheeseburger in his hand. They told him he had to get conditioned because he was like out of shape when he came back. I was like, "That's great, dude."
A little over an hour ago. Charles Woodson. I think this whole thing is bullshit on national TV.
Yeah. All right. Before we go, let's get those predictions for the Michigan game today, which is kicking off in 53 minutes as of right now. So I can get this out there. We got to roll this through.
Let's do it.
All right. You ready?
I'm ready.
All right. I got Michigan winning the football game today, 45-13.
Nice. Man.
You want to go for a shutout, but I don't believe it's going to happen.
I think the first I think Penn State's going to score 10. They'll score on the opening drive, and then they will kick a field goal in the third quarter, and that'll be it. I think Michigan 38-10. I'm going to go Michigan 38, Penn State 10. I think this is a 38-10 matchup.
I like it. I really like it.
I really do. And hey, man, listen, go blue, #bet, #pew, #potato.
#potato. We're going to start #potato on this one. All right. If you guys all want to stay tuned, coming up next, Charles, we have William Wagner on the end of this episode. And everybody catch that, because we don't talk this with Mr. Potato. We just talk straight Michigan football.
It's just straight Michigan football.
Awesome questions for him if you guys want to stick around. It was
so fun. What a good dude. Great energy. I'm looking forward to watching our boys on the field this weekend.
Go blue and pew pew, like Charles said. Bet.